Good morning. Welcome to Mr.Beer. We are really happy to be here with you guys. Welcome to Tucson, Arizona. That is where Mr.Beer is based. I have over here to my right, Josh Ratliff. He is a brewmaster here at Mr.Beer. My name is Rick Zeke. I'm the president. And we just wanted to talk to you a little bit about how to brew with our kit, because there's so many kits that get put out there during the holidays that we thought this was a great opportunity to get in touch with you, really go through the process. It's so easy to make our beer, and just to say hi, so that you can also see, the faces that are on here. Josh is just a rock star on our forum. He's going crazy on posting and things like that, and I know I really appreciate that, making contact with everyone there. And we've got a great customer service staff. Judy and Debbie and Renee and Josh really do a good job of taking care of you guys. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to always send in an email. We have got chat support on our website, and also give us a call. Obviously, we have the phone call right there for us, and we've got a great forum, a bunch of great guys on our forum that usually are answering a question within 30 minutes of you putting something in there. So what we wanted to do here with this live stream is just really show you how to brew.
And we do have a live chat option for this live stream, so if you have any questions that you want us to answer in the show, feel free to give us a chat, and we'll get to your questions when we can. All right, let's get the show on the road.
All right, thanks, Josh. Basically, what we want to talk about is the main type of brewing unit that you've got. And if you got it as a gift, most likely you've got the North American kit or the European kit. We've also got craft kits. We've got gold kits, numerous other kits out there, but they all kind of start out with our main little keg. You might hear us talk about it as the LBK, the little brown keg. Again, this is our forum guys. They're the ones that came up with this name, and it just really fit. So, I appreciate their input as well. There's a little bit of technology behind this, and just to go over some real basic things, the bottom has a vessel part here that will allow it to collect the trub and hold that for you, so that when you're going to be doing bottling later, it doesn't go through the spigot. Secondly, another important part is in the top here, we've got venting notches so that the CO2 can escape and you don't have to worry about having a bubbler on there as well, which is very common in home brewing, and there's nothing against that. But remember, Mr. Beer is about making it easy for you. This is the kind of thing that's going to fit in your cupboard. It can, no matter where you are, if you've got a small apartment or a large house, we feel that this is going to be really beneficial for those types of situations. In addition, we've got 11 bottles that come in with our normal kits. If you got a deluxe kit, it does not have bottles, but anything that holds carbonation is something that you can go ahead and use when you're bottling beer. We have 11 caps that come with the kit as well, and also a spigot assembly, which has the spigot itself, a washer, and a nut. We'll go over that in a little bit more detail in a little bit. And also, there's a brewing extract that goes in each kit. And this one is the Classic American Light. And you'll notice that when you pop off the lid, that is where you will find the yeast packet. Very important, don't lose it, because that is the only yeast that comes with the kit. Thanks, Josh. Also, what goes with the kit is a no-rinse cleanser. And the no-rinse cleanser is going to be used for two things. One, cleaning your keg itself, and then also later when you're going to be doing the bottling, it's going to be cleaning your bottles as well. And then lastly, what also comes with the kit is carbonation drops. And so 2 drops to every single bottle is going to be used for the bottling process. And in addition, there's a lot of other items that come with the kit itself. There's some paper instructions, there's stickers like you see on the keg here as well. So there's a few other things that actually come in the kit. And all of these things, such as the instructions and some of the other items, can also be found on our website. Just go ahead and search for instructions. We've got you covered.
All right. In addition to our little brown keg, we also have the 8LX. This is an 8-liter fermenter. It comes with a Kreuzen collar and a lid. It also comes with 2 no-rinse cleansers, a spigot, a bottling wand, and 2 clips that keep your lid secure during the fermentation process. And in addition to that, if you want to brew bigger batches, we've got the 24LX. This will brew up to 6 gallons of beer. And it also has a Kreuzen collar and lid, 2 no-rinse cleansers, bottling wand, spigot, clips. In addition, it comes with 3 brewing malts, 3 yeasts, 30 bottles and caps, and 3 bags of carbonation drops. And as far as equipment that you have to provide, you only have to provide a minimal amount of equipment. First, you're going to need a pot, and you're going to need a large mixing bowl. You'll also need a can opener, a spoon, and a 1 cup measuring cup. And I think that's all you need. You can also use your little brown keg as a sanitizer. Just put your sanitizing solution in it and throw your tools in there.
So why don't we move on to the spigot assembly? And the reason why we wanted to address this specifically is that there's a lot of people that do this wrong. And I just really wanted to point out that when you're doing this, be very careful not to over tighten. And so what Josh is going to do, he's going to walk through the process here. Basically what you want to do is you want to place the washer on the threads so that the beveled edge faces the threads. Simply put, the narrow edge of the washer facing the threads on the spigot like is shown by Josh. And then you want to screw the spigot into the keg by placing the threads through the hole in the fermenter and screwing the nut in with a flat side facing the keg wall. So again, this is really important because if you over tighten, there's really no way that you're going to know it's over tightened until maybe a little bit later, because the actual spigot itself is made of plastic, but it's going to stretch, and when it stretches it might break at the wrong time. So just really, really key, do not over tighten, do not use a pliers or anything like that to really tighten it down. What we've done is more than enough to keep it watertight, and so, but with that said, we want to test it just to make sure. You can see that we filled this keg up with a little bit of water, pointing it down just to make sure that it doesn't have any leaks. Just to let you know, in case you might see some water, because maybe you're sloshing it around a little bit, we do have the vents at the top. So those vents, if you slosh it around a little bit, it goes up through the top, it might leak a little bit. So just be really notice where maybe the water came from on there.
And if you're using your upright fermenters, the spigot is a little bit more straightforward. There isn't really any assembly required. So you basically just put it on there straight up and down, and you'll see a slot that you just stick it through until it clicks, and it's on there nice and secure.
Excellent. And I'll tell you what, since we got those spigots with the 8LX and the 24LX kit, they're really, really fantastic. It is so easy, and they actually do come apart, and you can put that into the dishwasher. Those particular units are dishwasher friendly, so you can get that in there, wash them really good, take that spigot assembly apart. You just want to make sure to put it together all the way, and there's a little notch that you'll be able to see for that to complete the assembly. Now, we're really looking at the most important part of brewing, and that's making sure everything is clean. You want to make sure that you don't have any stray yeast or anything like that that's going to make some off flavors. So what you want to do is you want to get your keg here and fill it up with some water. Approximately to the 4-liter mark, and then use your no-rinse solution here. Take approximately 1/2 of the bag itself, because remember, you're going to want to use some of this later when you're doing the bottling. So let it get in there. It's going to take a minute for it to completely dissolve, and you can kind of help that process. Either grab your spoon or go ahead and slosh it around really good. It's not going to hurt the spoon to let that no-rinse cleanser get on that for a little bit longer. So once you have that, slosh it around really good. You want to get all sides of the keg coated. And again, it's going to leak out the top. Make sure that you understand that that is going to happen. it's actually not a bad thing, because one of the other things that you want to do is make sure your area is constantly clean as well. So it's going to take about 2 minutes now that you've got all the area contacted with that no rinse cleanser. So why don't we take a look to see if there's any chat items. Otherwise, I know we took a few people had sent some emails in as well. So here we got all right, Rob, yes, it does look all good. We're happy that you're joining us. Walter, again, yes, keep it clean. You have to keep it clean. Nick, spigot diameter fits with a garden hose in case of emergency. All right, I don't know necessarily what that's for or what kind of emergency our spigot's going to work, but good for you on that one. And Rob, glad that you started those batches last night. Obviously, you've got it, so we're good to go on there. And Walter, just in time for the Super Bowl. Well, I hate to say it's not going to be ready for the Super Bowl, but that's all right. You're on the right, you're on the right track here. And what we really try to do here at Mr.Beer, and Josh is going to be really taking this, taking the lead on this, is in making some of these recipes that are going to be made in advance for you to know when to brew. We've got maybe the 1776 ale coming up, and we'll put a special on that for you so that you can brew it in time for 4th of July. Nick Carter, okay, garden hose, yeah, we already talked about that. Jim B, great, bottling it right away. Good job. One of the things that also comes in is, I know I spend time on the phones, and Josh has spent a whole lot of times on the phone, is what beer do you recommend? So what do you say? What's your favorite?
Yeah, I say, well, what do you like to drink? Because it's your palate, not mine. So you basically will tell me what you like to drink, and I would recommend a kit that would fit closely with that style.
What's your favorite?
My favorite? Well, I'm an IPA guy. I've been getting into saisons and sours a lot lately, so I like a lot of different beer, but my go-to is always just a good old-fashioned IPA.
Ever since, I won't say when I started drinking, but let's just say when I turned 21, one of my favorites was always a red. The Killian's Red was one of my favorite go-to beers, and so with that, I've always liked our Bewitched. That's been something that I really like to go with.
Great kit.
Exactly. And everyone here, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys coming in, early this morning. You on the East Coast, well, it's not so early, but for us here, 9 o'clock, I caught a little fun from, I'm sorry I forgot whose name it was on the Facebook that posted on there saying that I was drinking water when we're practicing, but we got some stout here for you, so cheers to you, Josh. All right. All right, so we've had enough fun there, guys. How about we keep on moving forward? Josh, why don't you talk about more sanitizing?
All right, so now your LBK is sanitized. What you're going to want to do next is put some of the sanitizer into your bowl through your spigot. This is going to sanitize the inside of the spigot. You don't have to do the whole thing. That'll take forever. So just take off the top of your lid and pour the rest into your bowl with your tools that you're going to be using. Anything that's going to be coming in contact with your beer must be sanitized.
So that's really important. Like I had said earlier, you want to make sure that everything is completely sanitized. Now is a key time for you to do that one last check to make sure everything is sanitized. You want to go ahead and maybe take a paper towel, dip that in your sanitizing solution, and wipe off your entire table. We're pretty lucky here at Mr.Beer. We've got this great room that is only made for brewing. You can see we've got 15 gallons of beer brewing in the back here. It's only for brewing. Whereas in your kitchen, if you're doing this kitchen, who knows when the last time that you actually clean that countertop. So really take the time to get this done. So what about the larger fermenters? How do we clean those things?
Okay, these ones aren't much different. You basically just fill it up with a couple liters of water. Take your measuring cup and just scoop it all around, all along the sides of the fermenter and the Kreuzen collar. You want to also make sure you're getting the outside of the collar. You don't want to miss any part.
don't be afraid to take. This is going to create a mess here. You're going to clean it up, all right? So, but at least this is the sanitizing solution that's going to be cleaning everything, and you don't have to worry about it.
Right, and just like the LBK, you'll want to sanitize the spigot just by putting some of the water into your lid, and then take your lid, swish it around really good, and that'll sanitize the lid. And you do the exact same process with the 24LX.
All right, thanks a lot, Josh. Yep. You know, one of the things that I get a lot of questions about is why we made the change a couple years ago, 3 years ago now, when Cooper's purchased the Mr.Beer brand, and we made a change to the larger can. And the larger can really was a pivotal point for us because it is now all barley. If you recall, if many of you have been brewing with us for many, many years, Mr. Beer's been around since 1993, so we have some history here. We used to have a small can, and then we had booster, and the booster was an adjunct. Well, we thought that to give our customers the best possible brewing experience, we wanted to make it an all barley malt. And Marcy, tell them why.
We want to try to stick with the German purity law, which was first written in the 1500s but is still in effect today in most parts of Germany. And it dictates that beer can only have 4 ingredients: water, barley, hops, and yeast. And those are the only 4 ingredients in beer. Of course, nowadays people add all kinds of stuff to it, but this is your typical base for a good beer.
Exactly. And so to that end, you know, even with the Classic American that we talked about earlier on there, you know, it's barley. There's the barley malt in there. We've got the yeast. You're adding your water, and the water that we use in making the wort itself in our state-of-the-art facility in Adelaide. I wish that each of you could go and visit this place because it is just an awesome place to visit. They get their own water from their own well in Australia. Nothing to do with city water or anything like that. It's pumped up. It goes through an awesome reverse osmosis system, and then they add back in the chemicals that are necessary for making the our wort for us. They got 3 world-renowned brewmasters there that are just really, really fantastic making our recipes for us. So I can't say enough about our brothers over at Cooper's in Australia. And what they do for us is they allow us to make this really consistent beer for each one of you so that you're brewing, you know, we're going to be done here in 15, 20 minutes. You're brewing beer in 20 minutes. You can come home and you still have time to watch the Super Bowl. You still have time to go play with the kids. You know, you guys are busy, and we recognize that. And not only that is it going to be fast, it's going to be consistent. So I guess all I can say is you're welcome.
All right, the first thing you're going to want to do to begin brewing is first you're going to want to take the yeast out of the under the lid and place your malt extract in a bowl of hot water. You want to let it sit there for a few minutes. I usually do it while we're boiling our water. We had this in there ahead of time, so it's already nice and softened up. And we just got finished boiling some water here. So the next thing you're going to want to do is open your can, and it's going to be open from the bottom because any hops or any sediment in there could have settled. Plus, it's much easier to open from the bottom than it is from the top. And that's nice, and this stuff's really thick usually, so if you don't stick it in that hot water, it is a pain to get out. Alright. So go ahead and pour that in your boiling water. See how fast that comes out when it's nice and hot?
And one thing that I'd like to point out is we had the 4 cups of water in there for the LBK, but in the larger kits, it's going to be more like 12.5 cups of water, so it's going to be a little bit different. You're going to need a bigger pot.
Yes. And you want to stir that up really good. Don't want to splash it around. You don't want to lose too much of the malt. But just stir it up really good. Scrape the bottom so that it's not all sticking. And that looks nice and dissolved.
All right, so at this point, one of the things that you'll notice, again, are the measuring marks on the end of your keg. You're going to want to fill it up with approximately 4 liters of water. And so that just happens to be just about a gallon of water. And another thing that has really come up all the time, we get it from new brewers, is what kind of water to use. If it's water that you're willing to drink, you can probably use it in brewing beer, but that is just the most basic of things to ask. But you can get into a lot more detail if you really want to. Our forums are a great place for that. Or if you want to, go ahead and give Josh a call here. We can go ahead and get that taken care of.
Oh, it smells good. All right. So now that it's up to the 4-liter mark, you want to be careful pouring this because it is hot. Alright, now that's going to be topped off to 8.5 liters.
Again, having 2 jugs of the purified water handy is going to be the most beneficial way to do this. You want to make note of where that is. I want to keep track of where I'm filling it up here. Alright, there we are.
Alright, once that's filled up to 8.5 liters, you want to stir it vigorously. Like really strong, so that it's foaming up. This is going to disperse all of your malt extract, and it's also going to oxygenate your wort for your yeast, because they like to start out with a good amount of oxygen so they can reproduce and ferment. And once that's done, take your yeast packet. Probably should add some scissors. Okay, go ahead and open your yeast packet up. And just pour it right in there. No need to stir it. Put your top on, and it should ferment in about 2 weeks, and you'll be ready to bottle.
Excellent. So we got this, and one of the things that I'd like to point out on the 8LX or in the 24LX kits, after the first few days, you're going to see that this is going to really start to ferment vigorously, and you're going to see that foam come up. It could go up 1 inch, it could go up 4 inches, and it all depends upon the type of brew that you're doing. And the nice thing that we've done with this Kreuzen collar is that it allows this unit to kind of go up and down based on how much carbon dioxide is being released by that fermentation. But after the first few days, it's going to be done. It still has a lot more fermenting to finish, but after those first few days, the most vigorous part is done. So what you can do is go ahead and do this quickly. Go ahead and take the lid off and drop that back down. Take the Kreuzen collar out, and you can still continue to allow that to ferment for the next 2 weeks, depending upon the type of brew that you're doing. And so you're all set to go. It's still going to be able to release the CO2 as necessary, but this, in a sense, is all that it takes. So again, how long did that take us? 15 minutes. 15 minutes, and you're done. You've brewed. There's not a big mess in the kitchen. Your wife is not going to be too upset with you taking up too much room. This is going to be able to go in a dark place. You want to keep it in a dark place with a relatively stable temperature. What are you telling people?
Anywhere from about 64 to 76 or so. Lower temperatures, you want to be on the lower end for better taste.
All right, so that's pretty much all it takes for you to be brewing a really good, consistent beer. We start you out with the classic American light, but please, you've got lots of different variety to dive into, to test, and just really make something special. I can tell you Mr.Beer is going to be introducing a lot more new things in the coming year that I am really personally excited about. I'm reaching out to some of the people in the forum, some of those ideas, so I'm really excited about what's going on. And this is just the first of our live streams. This is going to be something that we're going to be doing more and more often. I'm looking at introducing our recipes of the week with this kind of live stream, including some of our food pairings. So really, go ahead and reach out to us. Tell us what you like, what you didn't like, what we need to cover. I'm all ears. I definitely want to hear from you. We've got a few things special for you guys. Josh?
Yeah, we will also be giving a bottling and carbonating demonstration in 2 weeks, so make sure you keep checking out in your inbox for an invitation to that event. And as a thank you for joining us this morning, we have a special coupon code that will give you free shipping on any order placed within the next hour. Be advised though, after that hour is up, the code will no longer be valid, and that code is livestream. So thanks for joining us, and feel free to email any comments or feedback about this week's live stream to livestream@mrbeer.com.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Thanks.